Guys, it is almost time for UFC 321. Tom Aspinall, now the UFC Undisputed King, puts the title on the line against elusive striker Ciryl Gane in the main event. It's raw strength versus refined technique, and my friends at DraftKings are going to get you in on all the action. New customers turn $5 into $300 if your bet wins, paid instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code SONNEN, stay in on the action. Use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Love the thrill of live betting? Bet live on star player props and in-progress games right as they happen. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use my promo code SONNEN. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly if your bet wins. That's promo code SONNEN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. What do fighters like to eat? And I can't quite recall what prompted this, but I was curious. And there's a lot of travel involved. And I know that can seem glamorous. It's just the opposite. You're having meals alone. Uber Eats becomes your best friend because you don't have anyone to go out with, so you get something to the room, you go up to the room. But when you are traveling and you are in different areas, like I could definitely relate to this as a guy from Oregon. We have no Italian food in Oregon. If you want Italian in Oregon, you got to go to Olive Garden. And when I tell people that, they laugh for some reason. Olive Garden's great, but that is Italian in Oregon. We have pizza restaurants, but an actual Italian where you're going to go in and you're going to get the cheese sticks and you're going to order a bruschetta. And they're going to have a chicken parm and a veal parm, and they're going to have pomodoros, and they're going to have, we don't have that in Oregon. As a matter of fact, if I was to be literal, there's a place down in Eugene, Beppe and Gianni's. It's ranked number 1 in the state for Italian, but the trick is there's not 5 in the entire state. Now, Beppe and Gianni's is wonderful. Here in Oregon, if you were here in my town and you wanted to go, I would take you to Nicoletta's, which is just fantastic. It's a store. So you have to know to go into the back, and then that's where the restaurant is. Like you wouldn't even know unless you knew, and it's wonderful. But I wanted to ask the guys, what do you eat? And I went to Randy Couture and I asked him specifically, what do you eat after a weigh-in? And he says, pasta. Now that's the only answer I got from him, was pasta. I actually wanted some details, because I do understand where pasta from a carbohydrate, from a clean source, but you got to put something on it. You got to put a little something on there to make it taste good. So I was wondering what he put on, but all I got back was pasta. So I go to Weidman, and Weidman's a little bit more specific. Now Weidman is also pasta, but he's specifically spaghetti, and then he wants some substance. So he gets meatballs. All right. So I go to Vanderlei Silva. I said, hey, Vanderlei has never heard from. I had to identify myself in this. I didn't know if he had my number. This is Chael. I'm making a video. What do you like to eat after a weigh-in? Now, this was my mistake in the piece. I never should have said after a weigh-in. And the reason I say that is so many guys had the same thing. And Vanderlei wasn't much different. Vanderlei said, well, my favorite food is not the same as the answer to what do I eat right after a weigh-in. He said, right after a weigh-in, I want to read this to you specifically. Well, his wife Tia, makes a chicken Alfredo pasta. So he will often eat that, but he generally just has some level of pasta, and he's not super big on the sauce. So Vanderlei then tells me, hey, do you want to know what Jose Aldo eats? Yeah, that'd actually be really helpful if you could find out what Jose Aldo likes to eat. So Jose lets me know Jose is also a pasta, but he just does the spaghetti. There's nothing on it. And I even wrote him back. I said, there's nothing on that. Am I missing, is there some butter or some salt? No. No, he will just eat. If he can get a very clean tomato sauce, he put a little tomato sauce on. But if he can't, if he's out somewhere and he's worried that it's not going to be clean, he will just eat the spaghetti. And he even sent me a picture of it. Both of them, for hydration, will do Pedialyte. All right. So I go to Daniel Cormier. And always, according to Daniel, always steak and rice. Frank Mir, exact same answer. Always steak and rice. I go to Stipe. And I sent Stipe a message that says, hey, what do you eat after weigh-in? Now, this is very different for Stipe because he didn't cut weight. Stipe could eat any, after weigh-in, it could be what he had a week ago or 2 weeks ago or what he's going to have the next night or 2 weeks later because he's a heavyweight. So I sent him a message, and he writes me back and goes, I assume you're talking about the big guy. So it turned out I sent this to Stipe's wife. So I thought that was funny that she wrote back and goes, I don't think you really want to, she even says here, she goes, I don't think you really want to know what a suburban housewife eats after weigh-in. All right, fair enough, you got me. But then she answered, and he said, well, he usually goes with steak, but this is interesting. Stipe is always looking for something that's high in iron. Now, I generally hear carbohydrates. And whether you're high in carbs or you're low in carbs, it's generally a manipulation to the carbs. Stipe is looking for iron, so he always eats something with vegetables. Always gets a side of either roasted potatoes or sweet potatoes. Never has to worry about weight cuts, she says, but wants iron-rich. And never does seafood. He doesn't feel like he gets the same energy from it. All right. St. Pierre. George St. Pierre, pasta, but specifically Bolognese. Now, Bolognese, this is also the same answer that Dominic Cruz has. Exact same meal. If I was to show you the text I got from Dom and show you the text from St. Pierre, I mean, it's like they're sitting together. It's literally the exact same, but I appreciate that because Bolognese will reference in the sauce ground beef. So that's relevant though. What makes you feel good? So I know why they're doing the pasta. Everyone tells you to do pasta. It's like on fight day, they will tell you either eat oatmeal or eat a pancake without the butter and the syrup. I mean, I've heard this forever, but the Bolognese is relevant because now you're talking about a level of protein. And both Dominic and St. Pierre are very disciplined. They don't eat something just to eat it. They would have reasons. Now, they didn't break down the grams, things like this for me, but they did reference Bolognese. Anthony Smith always, after a weigh-in, will eat frozen pineapple. And he said that isn't actually for health reasons, that he doesn't eat pineapple ever, but when he's cutting weight, that is what he craves. Immediately after, like get off the scale, frozen pineapple is going in his mouth. Later, once his stomach opens up a little bit and his body feels a little bit better, always steak and pasta for dinner. Gordon Ryan. I think you'll find this interesting. You want to know what Gordon Ryan eats after weigh-in? Nothing. Do you want to know what Gordon Ryan eats before weigh-in? Nothing. Do you want to know what Gordon Ryan eats the day before a weigh-in? Now you do the weigh-in, the next day you do the match. An entire day before weigh-in, regardless of weight class. Do you want to know what Gordon eats? Nothing. He does a 48-hour fast before he competes. I also don't eat on the day of competitions. Now, I am not attempting to do a fast. Food doesn't give me energy. Food does the opposite for me. It makes me lethargic. And a lot of people don't understand that. Go, hey, you got to put something in your system and you got to have some energy. You got to get some fuel. And say, hey, I appreciate that that's good for you, but I did that dance for 20 plus years. For the last 10, I don't eat anything and I feel good. So I just appreciated when Gordon said this. He says he does a 24 to 36 hour fast before his matches. So that's a day to a day and a half. I said 2 days, 48 hours. I've got it wrong. There's between a day to a day and a half. No food whatsoever. Michael Bisping does Italian, and he wasn't more specific than that. So I'm imagining what he's trying to tell us is pasta. But Bisping probably does some pasta. He probably does some bread. He would probably even order a chicken parm. Just from knowing him, like Bisping is a very disciplined guy, but not necessarily with the food. He will eat what tastes good. When he says Italian, I'm guessing. Henry Cejudo, pink tacos. He said they're high in iron. I got another one here. Let me just give you one last one. I got another one here, but I want to get it right. Sugar Sean had an interesting one only because he was so specific. 4 ounces of chicken breast, 1 cup, so 8 ounces of rice, a pinch of salt. And he only eats that after hydration. Eddie Alvarez also had a more specific, which is he'll do a plate of baked potatoes, and he doesn't put anything on there but salt, or he'll do some pasta with just marinara and chicken. He doesn't want anything fatty. At any rate, those are fighters' favorite foods.